everyone, today is my dad's birthday and I am making him a chocolate cake with chocolate frosting because that is what he loves. Anytime we've ever gone anywhere to get dessert, he always gets something chocolate on the menu. Probably twice I've seen him not get chocolate ice cream. One time we were at a ice cream shop in Columbus called Jenny's Ice Cream, one of our favorite places to go for ice cream. Another time they were out of chocolate. Any other time beyond that, he's always gotten chocolate ice cream. He loves chocolate cake, so I'm making this for him for his birthday. So this is a chocolate cake. I went ahead and sifted some of the ingredients because let's be honest, it's not exciting to stand here and watch me sift. So in here I have 3/4 cup of cocoa powder. I have 2 cups of sugar and 1 3/4 cup of flour. I'm going to go ahead and sift in 2 teaspoons of baking soda and a teaspoon of baking powder. And also, this is a secret ingredient that I learned from a lady who used to make all of my birthday cakes growing up. This is a package of whipped topping. Really helps make a wonderful cake. Just going to go ahead and add that in, sift it in. Sometimes it's under the brand name Dream Whip. Sometimes I get the brand name, sometimes the generic. Just doesn't really matter. So I'm going to go ahead and sift that in, get rid of my lumps, and give this a stir. These are our dry ingredients. We have our cocoa powder, our flour, sugar, baking soda, baking powder. I also had a pinch of salt in there, and then our Dream Whip mixed in. So I'm just going to set that aside, and I'm going to start working on my wet ingredients. So I have a cup of buttermilk, a cup of coffee, 3 eggs, half a cup of vegetable oil, and some vanilla. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting all of these mixed in together. And then with the eggs, I'm just going to crack them into a bowl. I brought these up to room temperature. I'm just going to crack them in a bowl, make sure that they are okay. Crack them in here. Doing it the wrong way. Rid of my shell, toss it in. And then we're going to go ahead and start getting these incorporated into our dry ingredients. We're going to do it in a couple additions. And then lastly, we're going to add in that coffee. And the coffee, it's not really going to give it a strong coffee flavor or anything, but it's just going to be kind of a background note. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know I enjoy kind of adding in some hints of other ingredients to kind of help bring out the other flavors. So the coffee's going to help bring out the flavor of the chocolate. They complement each other really well. They're going to go really good together. So I'm going to go ahead and get my bowl over here. I can just do it with my electric mixer, I guess. I'm going to get this mixed together just for a quick second. It doesn't have to be too thorough. Just break up the eggs. Alright, and then I'm going to start adding in this to my dry ingredients. I'm going to add about half of it in. Get that mixed around. Rest of that in there. And it's a little thick, but we still have to add our coffee, so don't forget about that. It's going to be kind of a thicker batter, and it seems like we don't have enough liquid in there. Once we get the coffee in there, it's really going to help. I'm going to make a chocolate frosting for this too, and I'll have a link to that video below. He loves chocolate on chocolate. Add our coffee in. Do that in a few additions at a time. We don't want to have a lot in here because otherwise my mixer is going to splash it all through. So this is coffee that my husband made. It's fresh roasted from a coffee roaster in Cedarville where we went to college. We love coffee. People always rave about his, so it's going to be really good in this cake. But you can use any kind of coffee that you'd like. It doesn't have to be fresh roasted. That's just all that we drink, all that we really have on hand here. So it looks really good in this. Alright, so I'm just going to make sure I've got all the sides and the bottom mixed in. I am good to go. And then I have 2 8-inch cake pans here that I have went ahead and lined with some parchment paper. I'm just going to pour it into each one, an equal amount. Usually I go back and forth a few times because I don't have very good spatial skills. I'm not good at eyeballing it. I'm always afraid I'm going to have too much in one, not enough in the other. Alright, I'll grab a spatula. Get all of this in there that I can. And I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and get it baking. for about 35 minutes. I'm going to check it at 30 minutes though. And then I'm going to link my frosting videos below. When we come back, I'm going to show you how to put this all together. I'm going to take them out of the oven, let them cool for about 30 minutes on a cooling rack before I turn them out. And then we will go ahead and start decorating Dad's cake. Alright guys, so my cake was in the oven for about 35 minutes and then I let it cool for half an hour. I've got my frosting here, you can see that video below. I'm going to go ahead and start frosting my cake. So, first of all, I'm going to get my layer in between. So I'm just going to put some frosting around here. I want a nice thick layer of frosting in the middle. Alright, and then I have an offset spatula. I'm just going to go ahead and smooth that out. And then nice and even. I'm just kind of like to do one more border around that way. I have a nice thick layer on that edge, kind of helps lock everything in. And I have my other cake layer here, and I'm just going to get it lined up here. It's a little forgiving, not a lot, but it does give you a little bit of forgiveness, kind of smush the cake around if you need to. That looks pretty good. Do the same thing on the top, except this time we're going to add lots of frosting. We're going to smooth it out on the top and then push it over on all of the side. You want to save a little bit because I am going to decorate with some chocolate buttercream rosettes on it whenever it's all done. A little bit more on the sides. I'm using a 1M tip for my rosettes that we'll be doing in just a second, but you can use whatever tip that you'd like. Right, so I'm just going to smooth it out on top, kind of push it over on the sides. Go. Nice and smooth, and then we can start pulling that down on the sides. Pulling that around. And if we need to add more, then I can just pipe a little more on the sides, no big deal. It's a pretty big cake. So I did make a double recipe of this frosting, which is what the video is for, that demonstrates it is for the double recipe. Alright, so I'm just going to keep frosting around, getting all of my surface area covered with as much frosting as I can. And then we're going to pipe our rosettes. Alright, so I've got the cake all frosted, got a good even layer of buttercream on there. Now all around I'm just going to do a little rosette of my buttercream. You just want to hold the bag vertically and then come right up. This kind of just gives it an extra special fancy border. Alright, and then to decorate I just have some colorful sprinkles, nothing too fancy. Just going to sprinkle it from the top. And this is looking like a birthday party. Alright, and then I am not going to pipe since I use the chocolate icing. Usually I just make a little extra buttercream if I'm doing a white icing. and then I can tint it. I'm not going to pipe. I didn't feel like making the buttercream icing or piping icing, so I just made this cute little happy banner. I'm just going to stick it right in, and we are all set. So, can't do a taste test right now. We got to sing happy birthday to Dad first, but when we come back, we'll have all the family around the table and be digging into this cake. So I'll see you guys soon. Alright guys, so we're all gathered here around the table. We're going to sing happy birthday to Dad or Papa. All of my family's here, and we're going to go ahead and dig into our cake, see how it tastes. So, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Papa. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Here we go. Alright, so we ended up doing a voiceover on this because my family was acting fun and crazy, and we were having a good time celebrating Dad's birthday. So you can check out the original audio to this video in my bloopers playlist and our outtakes. I love that my nephew went right for the icing. As soon as I set the cake down, he could get his little arm out there and went for it. So he definitely approves. It's definitely a kid-friendly recipe. And of course, my dad loves it with all the chocolate. That is his favorite, chocolate on chocolate. And we really enjoyed our time together. But the cake came out so moist. It was really perfectly cooked. The layers were great, and the icing was so fudgy. It tasted amazing. We only had a few bites left over and definitely enjoyed those the next day. Still tasted just as good, and just had a good time celebrating my dad's birthday. So please let me know who you're making this cake for. You can tag me on social media at #Nicole Newman's Kitchen, and I'll see you next time, guys.